Good evening, everybody. If you're on yet, I'm just waiting for some people. What's going on, Ariel? Brother Medina, what up? Mariana, what up, Brother Tim? Yo, Ariel, you funny. Good evening, everybody. Definitely. Love is love, Keith. Love is love. What's up, Brother Grant? Hope everything's going on with you're getting your mask. What's up, Bruce? Buenas noches, Alfredo. Buenas noches. Waniki, how you doing? So I'm just gonna wait about a minute longer, and then I'm just gonna roll into this update. What's up, Tim? I want to shout out Tim Harrell, Bronx Division, working very hard out there. Damn, Bruce. All right, so let's get started. Basically, this live is to give you some updates on the going on in the Department of Buses regarding this COVID-19. So, a couple of things on today's agenda or conference call, if you will. Some of the things I'm going to talk about you already know. April 15th at 8:15, an executive order went into effect that any public transit employee in the public domain are mandated to wear face masks. All right, that's bus operators, dispatchers, and road managers, just to name a few. Employees working in and around the system should wear masks. Additionally, an executive order came out for those in the public that they must wear masks if they cannot social distance. There is now strong language coming out requiring masks to be used while utilizing public transportation. That's the subway, the bus, and paratransit. The DOB started a more robust configuration around the change and the signs, which started out in Brooklyn and is moving out to the other boroughs as more and more material becomes available. Now that's the change that they have that's going across. It got an X, so that it started out in Brooklyn, and it's going to be making it around to every location as the equipment becomes available. There's no update on the number of buses that's going to be configured as of yet. Additionally, the chief maintenance officer are potentially adding a plastic barrier type sheeting in the same location as the change to aid in the social distancing and separation to keep the bus operator safe. Additionally, for a longer term project, the DOB has engaged in a couple of engineer firms in regards to plexiglass as a barrier. This is basically a long-term solution. Today at 3 p.m., it was a toot your horn day to recognize transfer workers. That information was supposed to have been sent on a telelog, and sent out 5 minutes before it went into effect. It was announced by Craig Scipiano. He let us know today that Google has a recognition of transit workers on their network. So there's people out there recognizing the jobs that we do, and they're shouting us out. The MTA reached an agreement with Northwell Healthcare, who operates a lot of the urgent cares. That's so workers. So about 50 workers per day will be tested for COVID-19 at a maximum of 350 per week. It will be managed where employees who have flu-like symptoms will call OHS. It's the same thing with the hotline. Call OHS, and based upon the triage, will schedule at the employee's local Northwell center. You would have to be symptomatic to be qualified to get tested. Now I'm going to go on kind of to the last few things that I'm going to discuss. This is a quick live. All right, so we're talking about return to work procedures. So there's going to be a return to work policy coming out, but I'll give you what the return to work procedures are on here. So if a person, if there was quarantine employees who haven't experienced any symptoms, has completed the 14-day quarantine period, and now wishes to return to work, these employees, they were quarantined because of prolonged contact with another employee who tested positive. Employees living with or taking care of folks who tested positive for COVID-19, or international travel. These employees don't have to wait for any confirmation on the 15th day. The DOB is requesting the employee fill out a sick leave application and just indicate the reason for your quarantine, then indicate that you are in fact symptomatic free, letting the DOB know you have been symptom free. DOB doesn't need any medical documentation for that. The one thing the DOB would need if you was quarantined for international travel is to provide proof of travel. All right, so that your administrative pay can be confirmed for the last 14 days, and in our case, it's 10 days. Employees who have tested negative for COVID-19 before the 14th day, no symptoms, can return to work on or after the 8th day of quarantine. They would provide documentation of the negative COVID-19 result. At the beginning of the tour of duty, they would report that they are fever-free, but cannot work. You won't be able to work overtime or extra work till after the 14th day. Now, what that is if you went out for symptoms and you came back, they want you to be not working any overtime simply because you have to test your temperature every 12 hours. So they don't want you to work no overtime until after the 14th day, if that makes sense to everybody here. All right. That particular part of the policy, I just want to put a disclaimer, because the dispatchers union made a challenge to it because they felt that it would be a lot of information that their dispatchers would have to obtain. So it's being looked at again. So I want to give you the information, but we don't know if that part of the comeback policy is going to be effective. Of course, I'll let you guys know. Positive COVID-19 or symptomatic employees. All right, these are people who've experienced shortness of breath, cough, fever, and you completed a 14-day quarantine period and now wish to return to work because asymptomatic or symptom free without using fever reducing meds for a period of 72 hours. On the 15th day, you can return to work, bringing documentation from your primary doctor if you can get it. And that documentation can be a sick note that you saw a doctor in person or one of the online consultations that certifies the employee can return to work. Complete the sick form application when they return. Again, you have to indicate the reason you were out as normal. This is what they require in the sick form. At the top, you will indicate you were fever-free for the last 72 hours without meds. Then you come back. Then you can come back to work. You still have to wear a mask. That's what we're all wearing now for social distance. Still have to wear the mask. For the administrative pay, we need the positive COVID-19 test result to pay the 14-day administrative pay. All right, so that in itself is going to draw a lot of questions. However, if there's any pay issues regarding COVID-19 or if people should have been forwarded COVID-19 in advance because they didn't have any, maybe in the sick time, just let us know. We'll try to fix all of that stuff. Now, the COVID-19 extended child care FMLA. That's been put on hold. I explained that on Monday. It's still on hold. The latest policy that's being discussed is whether or not bus operators who are essential employees are eligible for the FMLA for child care, which hasn't been determined yet. We understand Letitia James has filed a lawsuit on this particular issue in our favor. Stay tuned for some more information on that. Now, there's been a lot of pay issues. A lot of the pay issues have been addressed with management. There has been some instructions given to the general dispatcher on how to fix these things. And once again, we've complained today on the conference call, and management is supposedly resending instructions on how to deal with these things. Some of it being ad hoc, and some of it happened to be done manually. All right. But just understand, just because I say it here doesn't mean that it gets done properly. So please let us know if it's not getting done properly. We'll send it to upper management to resolve right away. The 5-day to turn in documents for the extended sick leave. That's the 5 days that they extended it to the 25th. All right, so that's really right there all I have to report. I'm going to answer some of your questions offline. I know Next Bus Please just got on here, so I think they're doing a live, so you may want to tune in with them. I'm finished my thing, so I'm going to get on here and answer any questions that you have for a little while, and then I got to get into bed because I'm tired. So everybody be safe. Continue to practice social distancing. This thing ain't over. As a matter of fact, I was up in the Bronx yesterday. I was monitoring like the hub area, 149th Street, 146th Street, BX2, BX21, BX15, BX19. And I gotta tell you, over in that particular area, in the hub area, it seems like I saw a lot of people with masks, but nobody is really trying to stay inside the house and deal with the social distancing. From what I was seeing out there, it was people who really didn't have to be outside, and that I just found that to be problematic. I just wanted to share it. I was over on the 15 today by 126th Street Depot, and I was checking and talking to the operators there, and I was talking to the dispatcher there, who informed me that certain parts of the day, and it's periodic, there's a bit of overcrowding on the buses. So we're going to address that. On the 35 and the M35, today I saw with my own eyes that they had a short bus out there. So I called Mother Clara Hale to find out what was going on. It might have been a dispatcher that didn't know, so we're just going to give him the benefit of the doubt today. I spoke to the chairman. The chairman says they know that they're supposed to put articulated services out there. So I'm expecting that will happen. I'll check again tomorrow. M101s, I'm getting complaints of some of the homeless people riding the buses, and they're causing some of the overcrowdingness and making the essential workers that have to ride not ride. So I'm gonna address that in the morning. Matter of fact, probably send an email out tonight and have that addressed. And if you have any of these problems, you got to call the command center, but also shoot me a line, shoot me a text or something. Let me know where it's happening at, and then I'll send an email out too. Normally, management doesn't want to hear it from me too tough, so I don't have a problem ruffling some feathers. So, with that being said, you'll have a good night, everybody, and be safe.